Hey, super awesome listeners. We're back this week with part two of Jenn's interview with Tara Parker. We pick up the conversation with Jenn's picks.
We will now transition
Yeah.
into my songs,
What are
and
you?
I want to share another piece about you that I find really amazing is that we've done a lot of talking about how, skating is your Zen place and it's kind of your form of meditation. It's what connects you back to yourself. And I love that in the middle of all that, you are not afraid at all to stop mid skate and have a conversation with anyone that approaches you. I think that's really different. I think a lot of people, whether they're professional athletes or they're training or whatever, like that's their space and they're so single mindedly focused on that endeavor that disturbing them feels rude. And
Yeah.
so I love that you are that connected to it and are still able to sort of pop in and out of that zone, because that was what
Yeah.
was really beautiful to me, was that you were out, you were skating, and you had time for, these
Oh,
three 16-year
oh,
old
I love them.
girls, to come up to you. And then you had time for this 50-year-old woman to come up to you. And then you had time for all the other people that I saw like stop and talk to you. Like, I just love that even though it's sort of your space and your Zen, you're completely happy to interrupt what you're doing and share that with other people, because I think you immediately, or at least for me and my daughter and her friends, you
Yeah.
immediately sort of brought them into that magical place that you kind of really like to live in.
Yeah.
So that was really, really beautiful for me, and that's what
Oh,
influenced my
oh,
first song pick here.
really?
It
Share with
is.
us.
So
Yes.
I picked a song called The Moon Will Sing by the Crane Wives. And this is not a new band. This is from their album Coyote Stories that came out in 2015. But like you, this was a song that my daughter brought to me. And
Uh,
so I love that. She brought this song to me about a week ago, actually. Um,
uh,
and so there are so many, again, like serendipitous things that happen in your life and just moments that you remember. And she's been, my greatest hype woman. It's so funny to watch my daughter be out in the world as she's getting
oh,
older. And, like when somebody says they're interested in music, oh, you should meet my mom. And I'm sure she said that to you. Like, my mom has a music podcast.
yes.
You have to meet her,
Amazing.
So she runs over and grabs me. And so, again, I love the way these playlists come together. I discovered this song via my daughter. That's also how I met you. And it's no
Oh,
surprise to anyone that we were at an outdoor concert when all
right.
of this happened.
Right. Of course.
And there was this amazing kid. It was a Cactus Lee show, but there was this amazing kid called Pedal Steel Noah who plays 90s emo music on a steel guitar, right? And
Oh,
like,
wow.
so we're at this concert watching this happen. I meet you. I'm like, again, like, ask me why I love music, and this is it, right?
Yes.
Like, there's just no other way. I feel like all of these things come together. Like, I am
Yeah.
listening to a kid play Love Will Tear Us Apart by Joy Division on pedal
Oh
steel
my
in one moment,
gosh.
and then like walking up
Oh,
to the plaza at the Long Center and meeting you and your rollerblades the next. Like, it's
yes.
just, it's magical. It's really magical to me the way all of that happens. And so
Yes.
I think
Oh,
that was why this song came to mind initially. And then the second reason is that I love this song. I think it's really beautiful. I think the more I listen to it, the more I like it. The lyrics are strong. I love the harmonies in the song.
yeah.
And I also love being in a very new relationship with a
Yeah.
song and a band, right?
Yeah.
And it feels a little bit vulnerable. I have to be honest. Like, sometimes when I'm doing the show, I think like, oh, I have to know everything about all the songs and the artists. And I had a
Yeah.
moment this week where I was like, you know what? I want to talk about how great it is when you don't know everything about the
Yes.
artist, when you're just discovering, like whenever you were talking about Tim McGraw, and hearing that for the first time, right? Like,
Yeah.
remember back when you first heard Taylor Swift and
Yes.
got like the first like jitters? Like, that's something that I felt like in 5 seasons of the show, I haven't really explored that or shared how much joy that
Oh,
brings me with people. to be in that like new relationship with a
Yeah.
band or a song where you're just now getting to discover everything.
Yes.
Um, and
Yes.
I just think, you know, you get excited to learn the lyrics and where are they from and how long have they been making music and are they classically trained or self-taught? Are the band members related? Like these are all
Yes.
things that
The
I care
story.
about, right?
The
Like why do I
stories.
care about
Yes.
them? I don't know, but I do.
The
Deeply.
stories. Absolutely. I had never heard that song before, and I was introduced to that by you, and now knowing through your daughter and how wonderful that is. And it was beautiful. Like you were saying, the lyrics were very strong. It's a very poetic, like there's good
Yeah,
lyrics to that. And the music itself, it was, I mean, I had a little moment of like, oh, I love this. And it invites that. I don't know everything about this band. I don't know what their story is, but getting to know people's story and opening that door for others, it's so wonderful. So now I want to go and check out more and explore, oh, well, what else do they have in their catalog? Or where are they from? And we're seeing a lot of people do that right now with Taylor, as we've been talking about. We're seeing a lot of people do that with Chapel Roan
yeah,
and the success that she's having. It's amazing when you just share what makes you feel happy, and it might spark that inspiration for somebody else to go, oh, and then you're supporting the band and how much time and effort and energy it takes for these artists to create and share that. And that's one of the easiest ways that we can support artists is by sharing and talking about it and opening up the door for the invitation to explore who are they and what are they about, and are they family, are they friends, how did they become a band, and then you start to find the connectivity, and next thing you know, your favorite artist is blowing up on some of the biggest stages that you've ever seen. And you love seeing when people who are good people achieve those levels of success. And it
for
all
sure.
starts from just sitting in a room and putting the pen to the paper. And it starts from those little moments. Oh,
It's
it's
so
so
true. And it's fun and scary and like all of the things when you decide to
yes,
jump in and sort of like commit to a band. You know I keep
yes,
using like relationship metaphors, but I think that's really how I feel about music. I really do have a
yeah,
deep relationship with some songs. And this
yeah,
is a song that I love it today. I'll likely love it tomorrow. I may
yeah,
not still have it in my queue this time next year, but it'll always be there, right? Like
yeah,
waiting when I need it. And I've found like more often than not, songs find me when I need them. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm going to enjoy getting to know this song and this album and this band the same way I would a new friend. And
yeah.
I think that that's again what is so magical about it. And I love too that we have so much access now, right? Like this is an album from 2015. It's not new. It's a 10-year-old
yeah,
old album, but it's new to me
yeah,
because there is such this wide, range of music. And so you can listen to the amazing stuff that's out there and popular. And you can also take some time for like quieter, lesser known artists that you want to share and be excited about too. It's another one of the things that I love about being in Austin. It is such a music friendly town. It's anywhere
yes,
you go, you're going to probably find somebody that's passionate about music, so you can have these conversations. And I think it's
yeah,
approached in a really accessible way here. I
yeah,
found in New York and LA, like sometimes it was very like too cool for school. Like if you weren't talking
mhm,
about the most bleeding edge thing, like nobody wanted to have the conversation. And I think
mhm,
Austin's really different in that we can have a great conversation about a song like How Bizarre, or, a
yes,
conversation about a song like My Second Pick, which we'll get into here in a minute,
yeah,
and have it still be really relevant and have people be excited, like, oh, I'm going to check that out, not like, oh, you're listening to something from 2015, like, or oh,
right,
Crane Wives, they're so tired, like where you're like, no, they're
right,
not. You don't even know who
right,
they are. Like, stop it.
right.
So I think again, I love that about being in Austin.
Me
That it
too.
is a really like it's an easy town to have a music conversation in, which is great for
Yeah.
me.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing. The music, the live music around us, the concert that we met at, and the opportunity that the city gives us by utilizing that space and
Yeah.
hearing these local bands and local people is incredible. And then sometimes they'll do covers. Like I'll go out to a lot of the live music spaces around our city, and they're doing maybe their original songs, and then they're jumping into a cover, and then you're
Yeah.
right back in that moment in time, and then you strike up a conversation with your neighbor because you're both going somewhere, and then you see the energy and you point at each other and you're like, are you
Yep.
feeling it too?
Yes.
It's
What else does that?
magical.
I mean, maybe sports, but it's a different
Yeah.
way. Like they trigger a
Yeah.
different emotion to me than music does. And so, yes, listeners, I'm going
Yes.
to leave you with this song, The Moon Will Sing by Crane Wives. And then maybe too, like dig around a little bit for Pedal Steel Noah. He posts a
Yeah.
lot on Instagram, but it is crazy to hear a kid playing 90s emo music on the steel guitar. And again, I'm like, only in Austin does that happen, I feel
Only
like.
in Austin.
And it's great and I love it. So
Yes.
enjoy those, listeners, and let me know what you think. And
Yes.
then we're going to round out the playlist. I teased it at the beginning. Whenever we first started chatting, we're going to kick it all the way back to 1994 with this one for me. This is a song called I Know by Dionne Farris. Um,
Yeah.
this is from her Wild Seed, Wildflower album. And although it came out in 94, I feel like this song really, like I heard it when it first came out, but we'll kind of go full circle here. I first heard the song when I was in college, and Dionne Farris was kind of like an honorary member of this really amazing band called Arrested Development. That I don't know a lot of people know. It's more than just a TV show. I also love the TV show, but this band called Arrested Development came out I think it was 1992 was their debut, and it's an album called 3 Years, 5 Months, and 2 Days in the Life of. So that's another like ancillary plug. Go check out that album if you
Yes.
like early hip hop. It's a great album. But Dionne Farris was sort of, she guested, I think, on like 3 tracks on the album. And I just loved her voice. I thought she was just sounded so powerful and unique. And she had launched a solo career. The band kind of dissolved. And this song was like her big breakout moment. And I just love it. I love her voice. I think that, she is incredibly insightful for a really simple song. There's not a lot. It's not super deep, but it's deep. It makes you think. It's like
Yeah.
the lyrics are so simple that it almost makes it easier to maintain kind of as a mantra, like what she's saying in the song. And I feel like, this takes us back kind of to our Marjorie conversation in that if you listen, if you trust your gut, if you believe that ultimately people are good and the universe has your back, like you can tap into that and almost like, I don't want to say you're never going to get a bum steer or you're never going to make a wrong turn, but more often than not, you're going to find yourself on the right path. And so I think that
Yeah.
this song kind of, as much as I'd heard it in college and I liked Arrested Development and it was kind of like partying in the background, 1995 was the year that I left Texas and moved to Los Angeles. And it was maybe one of the most magical years in my life. Like, moving to LA was one of the best things that I ever did, ever. And it was also really tricky to navigate that city as a 22-year-old, right? Like I was
Woo.
fresh out of Denton, Texas, coming from school, and stepping into LA was a dream come true, but I was not ready for how people operated. I didn't understand it. It was different than what I'd grown up with in, Texas and Oklahoma. And so it was a really interesting time. Like you were saying, when you sort of found skating again, like
Yeah.
I felt like for the first time I was in like my place when I got to LA. I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where my people are.
Yeah.
This is where people that get the same things I get are. And yet they're still so different from me. And that was really hard to like square that circle when I was 22.
Yes.
And so this song sort of found me again.
Oh.
And it really became something that I could glom onto about, like, you know what? Like, trust your gut. Yes, you're meeting new people, you're engaging in different kinds of relationships. And some people are going to be shady, right? They just are.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I think that, like, this was a way for me to just always remember to trust my gut. And
Mhm.
also, as women, and especially back then, early 90s, mid 90s, like, we often assume responsibility even when things aren't our fault. I talk to Ivy a lot, my daughter, about, like, just this apology epidemic that we have as women. Like, we have to stop. We have to stop. And we've got to look deeper. It can't always exclusively be my fault. Like, that math just doesn't math, right? Like, when
No.
something happens or a relationship goes south, it cannot always be, or even a miscommunication, it can't always only be my fault. And so I
Yeah.
encourage, my daughter and others and myself, I challenge myself every day to, like, not apologize for things that don't require an apology, and especially for things that aren't my fault. And I think that that's what I think about a lot. Like, there's a line that she
Mm.
repeats over and over, and it really is a mantra for me. Like, I know what you're doing, and it's not going to work this time. Right?
Uh-huh.
Like, she calls it out all throughout the song. Like, she's like, I know why you're calling me. I know why you're singing Lost Love. Like, I know all of these things. And
Yeah.
guess what? I have wised up. Like, I'm not taking blame for this anymore. I'm not taking ownership where it does not belong. Like, I
Yep.
know what you're doing.
Yep.
Not going to work this time. And you know what? Do you, right? Like, go on. Like, maybe you really genuinely believe the fault is mine, but if
Yeah.
I don't, then I'm just going to leave it at that. Like, I know what you're doing. It's not going to work this time. And it's
Yes.
really simple, but that really, I feel like that carried me through that year, that really magical, wonderful, strange, bizarre
Yes.
year, in 1995, when How Bizarre was also on the radio.
Yes.
Like, again, playlists coming together really organically.
Exactly.
But it
Oh,
just, like, and hearing it again and it coming back around full circle for this episode just felt so great. Like, it was just a reminder once again that I feel like I've gotten a lot better about the
mhm.
apologizing, but still, there's not a week that goes by that my husband is not correcting my daughter or I, but not correcting, that's the wrong word, but just reminding, like,
Remind. Yeah.
ladies, no apology, like, don't apologize for that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just something that was ingrained from such a young age that I hope with your generation and my daughter's
Yeah.
generation that it just continues to lessen. Like, stop apologizing for things that you do not need to own or carry.
Yes. What an important message that song carries. And I haven't heard that song in years. That was another bringing it back for me, and go, oh, wow. Yeah, I remember listening to this song driving down the road, with my mom in the car. And as you're talking about those lessons of being taught the importance of not always apologizing for just existing and
Right.
holding space and showing up fully and not being apologetic. I mean, just the other night I was out with one of my very good friends who's a musician here, and her name is Carly Joe Jackson. You should also check out her music if we're plugging
Amazing.
local people. Um and Carly, we we were doing something and she apologized, and I was like, "No, please don't apologize. Like, there's no need right now. It's you and I, especially as women, we need to be empowering each other to call each other out in those moments and say, "Up, are you apologizing? I love to hear that your husband is doing that." And he's like, "No, this is not the time and place, because it is so ingrained in us to apologize for every little which way of our existence sometimes." And that song is such a powerful reminder, and to have that come back into our psyche and go, yeah, no, I'm not going to fall for that this time. I'm not going to repeat those old pathways. I'm going to choose differently. I'm going to learn. And people say live and learn, but sometimes they forget to go down a different pathway with that. And it is so important to correct those behaviors and to catch that in the moment so that you start to internalize it fully, and then start using different language instead of saying, I'm sorry, I'm late. No, I appreciate your patience as I was navigating something before I got here that took me off the pathway I thought I was on to be on time. Thank you for understanding and inviting more of that gratitude in, as we were talking about earlier. When you live in that mindful space and you focus on, thank you, universe, for gifting me all of these opportunities and moments. Speaking in that way is very powerful, and speaking in a way that affirms the space that you're standing in and allows you to move in a way that stands in your power and is not feeling apologetic is really hard to do. Is really hard to do at times. Absolutely. We can be 16, we can be 30, we can be 50, and it's still just hard.
It is. And words matter. Words matter. The words you say to yourself matter. The words you say out loud matter. And that's another, like, I said it a little bit earlier, but it's really true. I love too that this song casts no judgment. It doesn't say you're the bad guy here. It just says, I know what you're doing. Like, I see
Yes.
it. And it's
Yeah.
not going to work this time. Like, you're going to have to
Yes.
try a different tack. We're going to have to approach this a
Yes.
different way. Like, that's the other thing too. It's not about blame. It's not about
Yeah.
whose fault it is, and I think a lot of times we say sorry, not even as a way to assign blame, but just as a rote habit. And so I also like too that there's no judgment in this song. It's just like, look, you do your thing, but
Yeah.
I see what's happening, or how it's happening for me, and I'm
Yeah.
just going to choose a different way. So
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
powerful Dionne Farris. And if you're not familiar with her, if you're not familiar with Arrested Development, go back and check both of those out. I think that
Yeah.
you will be pleasantly surprised, listeners. Well, Tara, thank you so much for sharing what you're listening to this week. As I mentioned in the
Yes.
opening, I think your positivity, I think your transparency are magic. I think you should add those to your superpower list.
Thank
Because
you.
you really, like, it's just been, I knew from the moment that you took time to stop and engage with all of the people that were so
Oh.
mesmerized by what you were doing out at that concert. Like, it just is, it's really amazing and beautiful the way that you spread joy all over the city. And
Oh,
it's
thank you.
literal too. Like, you are literally everywhere, like all over the city. And so I just
Yes.
love that. It's fun, and I can't wait to have you pop in or run into you at the next event,
Yes.
because it is always
Oh,
so fun to see you.
it's my favorite. My favorite serendipitous moments are just coming across people on my skates, whether I've met you before, whether I've not, and just inviting that love in, inviting that light in. And I'm so thankful that your daughter, also Ivy, is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. I
On
have
Evermore.
Ivy tattoos. Yes, on Evermore. I got literally this ivy vine right here on my arm because of that song. And when your daughter told me what her name was, that I was like, no way. I was like, you're
Yeah.
Ivy. And it was just another moment of connectivity, and then inviting me up to have that initial conversation with you to lead to this moment. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be on the show and share with you and connect even further. And I just can't wait to see what listeners do with the soundtrack that we created together today, and what stories that invites into their life, and memories and moments and love. And I love what you're doing, and I think it's
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. So thank you for sharing the space with me.
Yay. It was such a good time. And
Yes.
listeners, to learn more about Tara and keep up with her mission of spreading positivity, you can tune into her YouTube show, Behind the Blades. And you can also follow her on Instagram at Jordan Tara. I'll spell that out for you. It's JordanTaraa.
Yes.
So you can follow her there. And as always, please be sure to follow, download, and share this show. And if you love listening, drop us a review on Apple or Spotify. And last but not least, to stay informed on all things Super Awesome Mix and what are you listening to, be sure to follow us on Instagram at Super Awesome Mix. Thanks for listening, and please join me again next week. to find your new favorite song.